All right, so today I am joined by the amazing and talented Frankie Rodriguez. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. So, Frankie, I'd like to begin by talking about your new nail polish brand called Freeland, which will launch on June 25th. What can you tell us about?
July 15th.
Oh, oh, it got pushed back. Okay, my apologies. I was so June 25th.
No, it's always been July 15th. So it actually launches on my birthday, which is July 15th.
Okay,
And the whole first line is called the birthday collection, obviously, naturally.
okay.
So I'm so freaking excited. I can't wait.
Awesome. And some of the names for these polishes include like Pink Fizz Fiesta, Kiwi Cake Pop, Glow Stick Dance Party. I'm in love with those names. Did you have a specific concept or inspiration in mind when you were creating these polishes?
Yeah, so with this collection specifically, it was centered around anything that I loved at a birthday party. So like one color is called Bounce House Blue, which of course like I was always obsessed with the Bounce House as a kid. So anything that like I tried to pull from anything that I loved, like when I was going to birthday parties, like gift bags or I don't know, like the colors, the popcorn, the snacks, the cotton candy, like all of these different things. And then I ended up deciding on these, kind of the ones that fit best with the colors. So that's how we ended up with like Glow Stick Dance Party or Kiwi Cake Pop or, Orange Dreamsicle.
That's awesome. I love it. And you do a lot like a lot of live streams, painting your nails and such, right?
Yeah, that's actually how this whole thing started. During the pandemic, I went live on Instagram and I invited anyone who wanted to join just to like paint their nails. And we kind of just chatted about, anything and everything and ended up with a manicure at the end. So it ended up turning into this kind of like party, and now we call them nail painting parties.
Okay.
And it is kind of like what you would get at a traditional salon if you're going in and you're there to like gab with people or, kind of like gossip and, all of that stuff. And so they're just really fun to do. And so that's kind of a component that goes with the brand, is that hopefully every launch will have some sort of, nail painting party that goes with it, or, this like interactive experience.
Awesome. And how do you typically do your nails?
I just love polish.
Okay.
I hate going to get my nails done, which is why I perfected doing them myself. Every so often I'll go in and get them cleaned up, but just the traditional kind of nail file them down and then, just two coats and a top coat. That's my
Awesome.
fave.
Very nice. And where and how can one purchase Freeland products?
Yeah, so you can purchase them from the website lovefreeland.com. We're also on Instagram at lovefreelandco. So that will have all of the information.
Okay, perfect. Now, switching gears a little bit, I'd like to talk a little bit more about your acting projects. You are most famously known for playing Carlos Rodriguez in Disney Plus's High School Musical, the series. So let me ask you, what did you enjoy the most about being a part of that show?
What I enjoyed the most, I mean, there were so many different aspects that I loved about the show. But getting to be a part of this huge franchise and this legacy, something that I grew up with, and I was obsessed with High School Musical. So to now get to be a part of it in this new, fresh take, that was like the dream. And so I think one of my favorite things about the whole experience was every day was different.
Hmm.
Every day felt like we were filming a new music video or, like this new out of the box thing. So I do miss those days, but what I miss the most is probably just the people and getting to interact with those people every single day and laugh and just enjoy the work that we were doing.
For sure. From the OG High School Musical cast, who was your absolute favorite?
Oh my God. It's hard to pick just one because they were all so wonderful and so
Mm.
so excited to be a part of the franchise in this new way. But we got to spend the most time with Corbin Blue, who
Okay.
was on season 3 and 4. So I don't want to pick favorites, but when we just got the most face time with
It's
Corbin Blue. So I guess that would be my answer.
perfect. Sounds great. And Carlos was the first openly gay character in the High School Musical franchise. How meaningful and significant was that for you?
Oh gosh, it was a game changer. Obviously you want to be a part of something. You want to see yourself reflected on screen. And I think in a way, watching the High School Musical, I did, kind of in that Ryan character. So to now be a part of this new thing that was like no hiding, we're out, we're proud, we're loud, you know what I mean? And then to see how it was handled with such care and such like honesty. That's kind of like was like the best of both worlds.
For sure. Now, were you out before being cast on the show?
I was, yeah.
Okay, okay. So you went in already being openly gay, and
I
so
said, hey.
I guess you kind of brought your own personality to this character of Carlos, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think that was like kind of like the secret sauce is, the biggest thing you get told at acting school is to be yourself. And you
Hmm.
never really know what that means or how to internalize that. And when I read the breakdown for Carlos, I think it said something like Beyonce lover, avid Starbucks drinker, like always too caffeinated. I was like, oh, I know this person. I know him. I was him. I am him. And
Mhm.
so I think you can kind of just like lead with that. And I think that was like the first time I ever really recognized like, oh, this is what it means to be the essence of yourself while like still creating a character.
Mhm.
So, hopefully I take that with me everywhere.
Sure, for sure. And can you talk a little bit more about your advocacy and your your passionate, what's the word I'm looking for? Just you're just very passionate about authentic representation and respectful portrayal of queer characters in the media. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, of course. Any chance I get to kind of use my voice to amplify LGBTQ plus voices, I will do because as much progress as I feel like we have made, and we have made so much, and I've gotten to, do so many things that, probably weren't possible 5, definitely not 10 years ago.
Hmm.
Um, so I'm thankful for that, but I always just want to be advocating not only like that we're just there, that we get a seat at the table, but that the storytelling is authentic and that it's we're not just kind of like a side character that's
Yeah.
like a stereotype of what we've seen before, but I would, as an out actor, I want to play characters that are complex and
Yeah.
that have like the same amount of weight as the rest of the other characters on the show.
Hmm.
And like I feel like I got so lucky with an experience like High School Musical, the musical series, because we kind of always joked that it was the gayest show in television
Yeah.
because so many of the characters were, by the end, everybody was queer.
Yeah, pretty
But
much.
also most of the cast, was also living, out and proud. And so,
Mhm.
yeah, I feel like it's definitely shifting and changing. But yeah, anything I can do to always make sure that we're being represented and represented well, of course I will do.
For sure. Are you still in a relationship with Joe Serafini?
I am, yeah.
Yeah, so he played Seb, who was Carlos's love interest. How are things going between you two?
Oh my gosh, things are going so well. We just moved to New York a few months ago from LA. And that was its own journey, and it still is its own journey. This city is crazy.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's going well. Thanks for asking.
Of course. What brought you two to New York?
We're just looking for like a change of pace. I think while we were shooting the show, which shot in Salt Lake City, it was easier to get in and out when you live closer, like Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And when we knew the show was we knew about a year before like the show was going to wrap up, and so
Mhm.
we kind of had to, or we just had conversations like, do we want to make the jump? Like, does that sound like something we want to do? Do we want to pursue theater more? So it was kind of like this, like all these different ideas that we had and where things that we wanted to do or places we wanted to go that we ultimately made the decision to be here.
Awesome. Awesome. And when did you realize and say, let's give this relationship for real. Let's try it for real. Like when was that moment?
It's I'm not it's a tricky question because when you're on location, away from your friends and away from your family, time moves very differently
Yeah.
there.
Mhm.
So, when we first started talking, like maybe like halfway through filming the first season, it was like, oh, this is fun. But it wasn't until after we stopped shooting and then I was hopping on a plane to see him. I was like, oh, okay, I think this is serious. I think, this could be something. So,
Mhm.
um, as exciting as it was at the beginning, I think it was definitely like a few months in before like we made the decision, like, oh, this is going to be something more.
Okay, okay. What have you found to be the perks and challenges of dating a fellow actor?
Oh. The perks are obviously anytime you have an audition, you have a built-in reader.
True, very true.
So that's a perk. The perk is also someone who understands the schedule, that it's
Mhm.
going to be something different every day. The hours are long. You almost never shoot in the location you live. So that is a perk. I think, I guess what did you ask? A perk and a what?
Challenges.
A challenge. And on the opposite side of that, a challenge will be, you could be away from your partner for an extended period of time. Your schedules could be all over the place because he's also an actor too. So it's like, you just never know where you're going to be.
Yeah.
It's almost hard to make plans sometimes because you're like, we should take this really nice vacation next year if we're not working, or if we're
Exactly.
in the same area, or if we're even, so I
Mhm.
guess that could be a challenge too, but I would say more perks than challenges.
Have you two ever auditioned for the same role?
Oh, all the time, yeah.
Really? Okay.
If it's definitely, if it's something, you always know if they're reaching out to everybody, because it's like
Okay.
this where we both get the audition and then we also hear from other friends like, oh, I'm going in for that too. So we're like, okay, so they're just seeing everybody.
Everybody.
Not too often, but sometimes we'll definitely get the same
Okay.
breakdowns.
Okay. Okay. That could be a challenge.
It's a challenge. I think, yes, if you decide to lead with your ego,
Hmm.
but with us, it's kind of like, well, this is double our chances. Like someone's get like at least one of us would book this, you know what I mean?
Right.
And yet I don't think that's happened yet. So
Okay. Okay.
it's not like
Okay.
the odds are good.
Yes. Yes. Well, have you always had a passion for acting in the arts?
I did. I was such a theater kid even before I knew exactly what it was.
Mhm.
I'm from a very small town in California, so we're known for our raisins. We're the raisin capital of the world. So as you can
Okay.
imagine, we're very far from anything creative or
Mhm.
musical. It's gotten better, but yeah, I was just always obsessed with like Disney and musicals, and
Mhm.
I think kind of like my first introduction into live performances were like Disney on Ice,
Okay.
getting to see the stories come to life and these sets and stuff. And so I was like, oh, I like always had an interest, but didn't really know you could make it a career
Mhm.
until I was in college, and just
Okay.
hearing people talk about their experiences. I was like, oh, I think I could try to do this.
Awesome. And you will be playing a lead role in Hulu's new half-hour comedy series, Chad Powers. What can you tell us about that?
Oh gosh, it is still so early on in the process of I think they're still writing it.
Okay.
But truly one of the funniest pilot scripts I've ever read. I was like, oh my gosh, I think I reread the first 6 pages 3 times in a row because I was crying laughing and I just wanted to make sure I got everything.
Mm.
But it is so funny, obviously starring Glenn Powell. It's going to be such a good show.
Can't wait to see it. Yes. Well, what's a typical day like for you when you're not working?
When I'm not working, well, right now it definitely every day I feel like I'm in tech week for Freeland. So it's I'm looking at nail polishes all day, and I'm not complaining. It's like a world I think I created for myself, and I'm so happy to be surrounded by things that are so colorful and fun.
Mhm.
And our logo is a happy face, so it's
Yeah.
it's definitely hard to be upset when you get to like play with nail polishes all day, but. Yeah, no, I think right now, I think yesterday I clocked in 12 hours. So it's definitely, I'm hoping it slows down, but I think just trying to get everything in order for the launch, it's all about Freeland right now. But other than that, exploring the city, kind of, just
Yeah.
hoping to have a chill day off.
Yeah, definitely. Well, doing my research, I found out that you're a huge Real Housewives fan. Is that correct?
Oh my gosh, the biggest.
Which franchise is your favorite and why?
Oh my gosh, I think it's like picking your favorite child, to be quite honest. And now that there's like 10 US franchises, it's like, oh my gosh, which one really? But I think I have Orange County, which was the first one. I have such like I don't know, there's like a really like warm, nostalgic feeling I
Yeah.
get when
Mhm.
especially when I watch those early seasons where like they don't even interact with each other. It's just them living their life. I don't know. I would say Orange County. Some of
Okay.
these women have been in my life for like, I guess like 18 years now. So I feel like they're like my extended family at some point. I don't know what I would do if I ever met any of them in person, but yeah, I would say Orange County, although I love
Okay.
them.
Nice. You haven't gotten to meet any of them yet?
I've gotten to meet a few. I don't think I've ever met any from Orange County though.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, Real Housewives is kind of like just background noise in my home now because my husband, he's the avid Housewives fan. So he's watching
Okay.
all the series. He was just watching the new season of Jersey the other day, and
Uh-huh.
he goes back to the old seasons of Orange County with Vicky Gunvalson and all
Oh,
that.
yep, yep.
So I was never really a big reality TV fan, but then he got me into it as our relationship progressed, and now I watch it with him at times. I love the early seasons of New Jersey with Teresa and Melissa.
Yes.
Yeah, Caroline Manzo. I'm a
Oh,
big. I was all about those seasons because I love the family dynamics, and but I
yes.
tend to know a little bit more about New York, Ramona and Luann. I mean, I'm a big Countess fan. I love the Countess.
The Countess, love her.
What would your tagline be if you were a housewife?
Oh my gosh. I feel like as this season in my life, it would have to be like a play on words of like make every day colorful or something, or like I'm painting a new era for myself, or like try to
Okay.
touch the nail polish in some way. But I get asked that question all the time, and every time like it'll always come to me like at different times. I'm like, oh, that's what I should have said. So the next time it happens, I'm gonna write it down. So I'll
Okay.
be prepared for
Yes.
this question.
Okay. Perfect. Well, Frankie, what are some future goals you hope to accomplish with your career and platform?
Oh my gosh, I would love to. I'm so excited to see what happens with Freeland and how people respond to it. So I would love to see where that goes, and kind of like how big the brand can get and where it can go. So just kind of focusing on that, and then also starting a new series. So you can kind of never know what's going to happen with that. So it's a lot of like these like planting seeds this year, I feel like, and kind of like watering it and seeing where it goes. But I feel like in a true housewife form, I say yes to every opportunity.
Okay. Okay.
Almost every opportunity, you know what I mean? So I'm excited just to kind of see where things go and what things come at me from starting these things that I'm doing myself. So,
Sure.
I'm an open book.
All right. Awesome. Fantastic. Well, how can one stay up to date with you the best?
You can stay up to date with me on Instagram at Frankie A. Rodriguez. I'm also sometimes on TikTok at Frankie with 3 E's Rodriguez. And then of course you can follow along with Freeland on Instagram at Freeland Co.
All right.
I
Perfect.
love Freeland Co. Sorry.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. Then before we wrap up, are there any other upcoming projects or anything else you'd like to mention or plug at this time?
Not at this time. I can't take on another project.
But you always say yes, so who knows? It could happen.
I would fit it in. If something came in my inbox right now, trust, I would fit it in. But I think right now I'm at my peak.
At your limit. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic.